Welcome to The Sky is Falling with your hosts, Ben Barber and Dave DeAngelis.
Put the pundits on an endless loop that know more about you than you do about you. So this cast of every lover past, which wasn't his first, wasn't her last. So I don't gotta think about it. The same damn thing. Well, now watch out, but we're gonna, of course, become headlines. Don't send the baby source. Your own mind. Can we do without the news? No need to know who's in cahoots with my brother. Oh, it's a fishbone town. Word gets around. For we're under the covers. None of us ever can get off easily.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to The Sky is Falling.
I shouldn't have sang that. That was inappropriate. That's not my
That's-
song.
That's Dave DeAngelis. I am Ben Barber. And that was our wonderful intro, Fishbowl Town, by Wild Sun, a.k.a. Glenn Thomas Kenzia. Hey, man. So we welcome to the show. We are early for our Monday morning show. And
Late for the Friday show, early for
late for the Friday, early for the Monday, which is wonderful.
Wonderful.
And as we've said, we're really excited because on Monday we have our new co-host.
And maybe it'll whip this show into shape.
Yep, it probably will. She does it in general for the rest of our lives.
Hey,
Your future wife,
my
Allison.
future wife.
Allie Woodard. So, David.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's when the show's going to get good. But don't
You know
leave
it.
now.
This is just we're getting started.
We are getting
We're
started.
fun
So
though. Oh great,
how
we
was-
lost people.
how was your week, Dave?
Let's not talk about it. No, it was good. Every time you ask me how I am, I'm like, that's not what I want to do here, because it's just gonna get negative.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
No, it was all right. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
It wasn't eventful, which is good at this point.
You
But we're excited. We're excited over here in this house lately.
we are. I'm very
We got
excited.
some big changes coming up.
Yeah.
That is exciting, but it's overwhelming. But
I'm thrilled with the changes that are coming up. So what I wanted to talk about this morning was something that is near and dear to both of our hearts. And that
some lighting going. Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
What's up?
Well, I wanted to. So last night, yesterday, and last night, yesterday was sort of all about this Chorus of Westerly documentary for me.
Yeah.
And I watched it in the morning, a preview version of it in the morning, but it was the full thing, just not like completely finished. And then I had to edit some clips of it for the show last night, and then last night we did an over an hour long interview with the filmmakers and Ryan and Andrew, the executive director and music director at the Chorus of Westerly, and it got me really thinking about arts education and about what that means for the children in Westerly and all over the world, and how important that is. And I know that you grew up, your dad was obviously, well, why don't you just tell people what your dad did for a living, if they don't know? Dave, did you mute? Why are you muted?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
My dad?
Yeah.
He did some stuff. No, he was a music teacher, lifelong music educator, taught at Westerly High School. Did a number of things to try to help the arts community in the town to help the kids in the town receive a quality music education, but also he was never just he never like kept um he never compartmentalized music. He was always very important about all arts needed to be. He would always vouch for all arts programs, whether it had music, art, physical art, obviously theater. He directed musicals at Wesley High School for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And very much supported actively Course of Westerly, Granite Theater, all those places that, were in the community. He really would love the progress of the United Theater is making right now.
Oh yeah, he was so excited about the United Theater 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
2008, he was beside himself at that was the first time they released the proposal of what they wanted to do.
Yeah. Chad says, shout out to Mr. Bonner. I agree.
Mr. Bonner.
Um,
he has a Charahoe connection because his son is actually a friend of mine since elementary school.
Yeah.
So we already knew him. Plus, he worked with my dad and mom. So and plus he did the audio video.
Right.
He did the video program, so it was a huge connection there.
And Tim, Mr. Bonner's son, helped us edit the first video project that you and I ever did together.
Well, obviously Tim was gonna dabble in editing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the Odd Couple trailer, filmed at Wilcox Park. We gotta get that up.
Do we have it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we need that.
We filmed a full trailer, like
For
literally. Basically, we recreated as best we could the opening credits to the Odd Couple TV show.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we did.
And we did a pretty damn good job just using downtown Westerly.
Yeah.
In a busy summer day. I mean, we were. The only issue with that was that I was a 16-year-old, 16-year-old looking like a large 11-year-old playing a 50-year-old.
I think you really sold it. I think you sold it as a 50-year-old divorcee.
I did. I had the attitude, but I had the baby face of an 11-year-old.
I gotta say, my favorite thing in the world was 12 Angry Men putting 2 little things of baby powder in your hair,
on my temples,
on your temples, and and then, boom, it's Henry Fonda.
You look at my face, and it's like, that little boy looks like he's so old.
Chad, shut up.
We were students.
We were students. Thank you very much.
We were underage students. No one in Westerly was gonna care. Also,
No.
we did what Darren Aronofsky did in Pi. I almost said Life of Pi. Totally different movie. Pi and Life of Pi. That'd be really funny. Like 28 Days Later, 28 Days. I tried. They're both very depressing. They're just very different. In Pi, he just had lookouts on New York City, and they would film real quick, and then they would go.
Also during that same shoot, the town manager of Westerly allowed us to shoot in the municipal court. So
I thought you were talking about the woman that wrote an article about how we were filming down there.
Oh yeah,
And
people
Kurt,
knew.
The guy
people
that we
knew.
were
Nobody
filming with
cared.
was very upset.
Chad.
Anyway, so we're talking about arts in the community.
We are.
Which, that was on topic. To be totally
It
honest,
was.
because that continues to this day. A lot of kids come out of Westerly and come into Westerly from other schools, and Charahoe and Westerly. I'm so sorry that I don't know a lot about Stonington schools except that they're great. But I do know, and I'm sure they do. But I know they actually have an amazing music and theater program. But everybody's got full-on video programs.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
Which we have always talked about since we graduated, and these schools have adopted that. Man, we would have had so much fun because we were doing it anyway. Or maybe we wouldn't. Would we have? Yeah, we would have done both.
We definitely would have done.
Doing it, I was wondering if we made it our job, but it's not like we didn't like music and theater. If we took a class
No, I
about
mean
it.
that was what we did. We spent
wanted to do.
we spent
took,
all day in
creative
school.
writing.
Exactly. We
This
were
is
in
closer
creative
to me.
writing class. We were in we were in music theory, and
Our schools offered a couple classes in music and theater, and they
and
were
we
very
took all of
specific,
them.
and we just took them
I took speech just
just
because it was
because it was
similar.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But if
I
we
have
had
no
video
doubt. Yeah, and
and a
so
festival,
I love the all of the additions in the arts education that Cheraho has made since we left, and I'm really happy for the kids, and it's shown because um, is it Rebecca Burns now?
yeah,
Rebecca Burns has done such an amazing job with
you meant
their
her name
theater.
now. You know that it's her.
I know it's her.
Yeah,
I meant her name. I
yeah,
knew her.
exactly.
She was in shows with us
I know.
when before she got married.
Yes.
But Rebecca Burns has done such an amazing job at Cheraho building up that program and making it, you know, one of the premier theater programs for high schools in the state. And like
And of course, we have the music department over there, Miss Dowding,
Miss Dowding keeping
Mr.
it down
Johnson.
since '05.
Mr. Johnson's still there.
04, 03. I think so, yeah.
No, I'm saying that he is.
He is still there. That's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
and other. I'm not sure if I know a bunch of other music teachers still there, but
Yeah.
the last year, the articles came out of what the classes that they decided to add, and we were just like jaws agape. We were like, I
Mhm.
can't. There's a children's theater class.
Yep.
There are I mean, if you want to go deeper as far as their class offerings, they started offering like psychology courses as far as like social, like dealing with other students that like so you can talk to people
Oh yeah.
and not be insensitive. I mean, are you kidding me? But the arts programs have been beefed up, and other schools need to do that too. It's a fishbowl time. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Stonington's doing a good job. Great job actually. Their facilities are beautiful. Their shows have always been, you know what I mean. Their music program and theater have always been
Oh yeah.
well
When
respected.
we started
We would
doing
borrow
community
stuff.
theater, exactly, and when we started getting kids that were, you know, like 18 that had come from Stonington into our like summer community theater projects,
Yep.
they were always so talented, and
Great.
you know, not that, I mean, talented kids can come from any program, and that's
Yeah,
the point.
We're just saying.
And that's the point.
That is the
But
point.
they,
The talented kids are at places that don't have good programs that want
Right.
outlets.
yeah. So so I told this story last night on the show, but on the mostly music preview for the course of Westerly, but there were two things. There is now a children's theater based in Westerly that travels to all schools, called Theater Scrapbook, that is run by your sister, owned and run by your sister Antonella, and she does a wonderful job with that. And we were the founders of that. And the reason for that was twofold. You and I went to see the Americana concert from the Chorus of Westerly, the special concert that they did in Andrew Howell's first season.
Yeah.
And they had commissioned a piece in honor of George Kent, Mr. Kent. And Ryan gave a speech, and it was so beautiful. And it made me think about all I thought about when I got home that night, and I called you at like 3:00 in the morning. All I thought about when I got home that night was how important it was for all of those kids in the chorus, and how amazing it was that there were these people who were continuing the legacy of what Mr. Kent had built. And I thought a lot about your dad, and I thought a lot about the kids, and I thought a lot about how people had asked us for almost 10 years at that point to create a children's theater. But you and I were basically kids ourselves, and I
We just
didn't
want
want
to
to,
do our own stuff.
and I didn't want to do it, you know? And but that night changed my thoughts on everything, and I called Tower Street school the next day, this Tower Street School Community Center, and I was like, I want to offer a program. You guys don't have a middle school chorus anymore. They had gotten rid of the middle school chorus even at Westerly, and
Still.
yep, and there was no theater under high school, and I had been working with your dad for years at this point at the high school level, and it was so hard to get ninth and 10th graders to want to do theater when they hadn't had any experience. And it was so hard to get ninth and 10th graders to want to go into chorus when they hadn't had it offered to them in middle school. So I called Tower Street and I called your sister, and I was like, let's do this. Let's start a program so that we can offer a musical theater after school activity to these kids. And it's immediately when we did that first show, which was just done on the seat of our pants because I didn't want to wait. Like that was like the middle of March that they did that concert, and we started planning the show. Like the show was up that spring, the first one that we did, Annie, and the night that the show happened, we were setting up Tower Street. We had no money to do anything. We had no people weren't like donating money or time or anything like that to us. It was, the first time it was really just everything was by the seat of our pants. And you and I were setting up the lights and everything for the children's theater performance. And the auditorium kept getting more and more full. And we kept having to move the lights back further and further before the show started. And you and I just looked at each other like, this is incredible. Why were we not doing this earlier? And so to see how that has grown and how Antonella has taken it into so many different schools now, now there are 3 to 4 programs for Westerly Public Schools, but they're also in, St. Michael's and they did stuff in Charahoe and literally so many places that I don't even know. We did YMCA camps. We did Weekapaug, summer camps, just all of this stuff. It's really cool to see that. But what's really important is watching the kids grow now that there's been enough time that kids that started in 5th grade are in high school. That's super trippy to watch.
Oh yeah.
What's that like? Like, so you were obviously you did theater with your dad when you were like 5.
Mm-hmm.
You started to be in the shows at Westerly. And then you were also in the chorus of Westerly. What's it like when you see people like grow in that? You know what I mean? Like there were friends of yours that were shy and then came out of their shell and like I don't know, what's that experience like being a kid and growing up in it?
In any of those organizations?
In an arts organization, period.
I was a part of a few, so it was kind of crazy. Because I was just thinking, when you just asked me that, I was thinking, and not trying to be self-serving, I was thinking literally, I saw stuff when I was 8, and then I also saw stuff straight through to when we had a company. Right? So,
Yeah.
like, I myself was one of those people, because let's be honest, I needed these groups to break out of any sort of shell. No, I was going to say, to break out of my shell as much as I possibly could. I'm still in the shell, but I busted it open enough so I can breathe because of this kind of stuff. Chorus of Westerly was huge because, let's be honest, I don't think it's quite talked about enough. It's such a big thing for social parts of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, singing is great in a chorus, but you're there to hang out also, because you want to be there, not just hanging out, but you want to be there with those people. You want to be doing that. That's, we've always made a joke. Instead of doing shows, why don't we just start a rehearsal club? We're just rehearsing for shows that we never actually perform, but we act and we work on the craft, but we mostly hang out as like a activity because that's the best part of. That's why there's no other reason why you would work that hard to perform something, whether it's music or theater or anything like that. Even sports, you wouldn't work that hard just to do it once a week. Or, and if you're doing like a musical, 4 shows max. 4 times, and a lot of times it's like twice.
Yeah.
You work for 4 months and you sing a piece in a choral concert or you perform a show and it's over. But why did you do it? Do you feel cheated? No. So why did you do it in the first place? Because it meant so much to you on so many levels. And you got so much out of it on so many different levels, whether it's artistically, socially, emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was crazy to see people in these groups come out of their shells, grow up, to do a bunch of different things. People get upset when everybody doesn't go into the arts, and it's like, think about whatever they're doing in life. It's probably because they were given the confidence from activities like this.
Mm-hmm.
So like, don't hate that they didn't choose to be a musician.
No,
And it
absolutely.
helped them find what they wanted.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the really great, like, you look at you know, people that have come through these organizations are like leaders in the town now,
Yeah.
and business owners, and members of the town council. The former president of the town council, I believe, Jamie, was
Absolutely. He was the first lead in my dad's first musical.
So all of these, Mr. Kent says it beautifully in the documentary, which you can watch Sunday at the drive-in. Go to chorusofwesterly.org for that. He says it beautifully, though. He says that the reason why it's important to get 8-year-olds in is that they see a job from start to finish, and that is really, really important. And it teaches you values so far beyond singing and dancing and whatever the art is. That's the other thing. We have a fun opportunity where we've done a lot of recitals, and you obviously know the people at Miss Jean's very well over the years. Like, dance is definitely one of these things, and it's just
being in a dance company like that is one of the easiest ways to get into the arts. And in this town, there's an unbelievably high rate of people that have gone through one of the dance companies in the area.
Anne says, great times with Theater Scrapbook. What started out like strangers, we became a family.
Absolutely. But yeah, I forgot. I mean, I'm not trying to leave out anybody because all of this, any arts, period.
Can I just say, I have a message from someone whom I met because he is a representative of the civil engineers of Rhode Island. Said STEM is meaningless without art. So they created the acronym STEAM, but that is useless without history and humanities. Okay, that's my rant on STEM. It all works together. It all works together,
and that's all be together.
Yeah.
Other places in the world are able to balance education pretty well. You know what I mean? Is that so?
No.
Ignorant to say? Like, this is possible is what I'm not saying that I have the blueprint and the roadmap. I do say that it's definitely possible to do it. And there's room for everything. Because I wanted to bring this up, dude. Westerly as the town has incredible arts organizations. And that's amazing. Westerly as a school district needs to get their act together
Yeah.
with their arts organizations because they don't have any. They have the bare minimum.
Right.
It's
And
messed
and
up.
and the people who are doing the things that they do have are having to work 3 times as hard
Yeah,
to
and
give
on
those
things that
kids
they're
the
not
yeah,
specialized in.
to give those kids the experience that they have. So
Do you want
so
me
that
to?
is not a slate at all to the people that run the
No,
bands and everything
I would
else that they
assume that
have
those
right
people are
now.
also like we should beef this up.
There could be more, yeah.
That's not at all what I meant. I just meant that the
And
people
studies
that just.
show
I'm not talking about the teachers or the students. I'm talking about the people who decide what courses are being offered.
right. And I mean your sister, because she went to school for this, would be able to give us the statistics a little bit better. But studies show how much better kids do in math and science when they have art and music.
You want me to
And
quote Mr. Holland's opus?
yeah, please. If we don't, what is this all for?
What does he say exactly? If you take away, if you make people only study like math and English and you don't have any arts, they're not going to have anything to read or write about.
Yeah.
I have a clip actually that I pulled up of my dad speaking on the status of the arts program in Westerly many years ago. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I'm trying not to swear on the morning show. Go ahead.
This is my dad talking about the arts programs and his experience. He at one point he was running the middle school and the high school chorus, so he had just said in this interview that he was his own feeder, which was a really awesome experience. And he's about to say, and then they took it away. So here we go. This was a while ago, and nothing's really changed that much.
And then they took it away, and then it just started to go down from there. They just didn't put any credence in middle school chorus. It didn't last in the schedule. It got tossed out. It got on an activity flex period. It was after school, and it just has deteriorated since then. And I think that's a direct correlation to why I have so much trouble getting so many numbers in my program, because there's that
There
in
is
between
no
time that
there is
there's
no
nothing.
chorus now. For
And
the
now you're
middle school.
talking 4 years, not just 2 years,
Right.
like 7th and 8th. You're talking
Exactly.
5, 6.
They don't
7,
have
and 8.
any chorus. Or...
Just general music.
'Cause
General music.
There was on Saturday at Arts Alive, all of the elementary school choruses were on stage together after you, and there must have been over 100 and something kids on that stage.
And then
And
they
then
don't
there's
have
no,
anything to
and then
do
there's
until-
nothing once
Yeah,
they hit
they-
fifth grade.
They
Until
have
high
those
school.
huge numbers. And that wasn't even everybody, because it was a Saturday and a lot of these kids had other activities. So they didn't even have all of their kids that usually perform in their choruses individually. There are well over hundreds of kids. And the nice thing about that was that they all do their own things separately in their own buildings for their own, programs. But the nice thing they did this year was they all sang together. All 3 schools, or all 4 schools, sang together. They all learned a couple of pieces together so they could perform this big, massive chorus. And then each group did, a couple of their own things that they did. So, that was nice. But yeah, and then it stops. And it's a shame because it stops even earlier.
Yeah.
It stops in 4th grade. And 4 years is a big chunk of time, especially growth wise.
You're a completely different person by 8th grade than
Oh
you
my
are in
God.
4th grade. Like
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
And so they've not, and it's manpower, it's people power, it's staff. That's basically what it comes down to. It's making a choice between offering that, giving up staff to do that, or the general music, which is
Yeah.
something they have to offer for the population. And
I know this is a big question, but have you enjoyed your time
yes,
at Westerly?
for the most part, I have. Yeah, for the most part, I've struggled. I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of where I've come from and where I am now. I'm proud of what I've done there. I wish in many ways that things could be different.
play.
it's disappointing to think of what we have in the school system and what we have community-wise in Westerly. There's no correlation between the two. There's a definite gap in the school system, especially in the high school level. The interest, the desire, the push. I mean, especially after this Arts Alive weekend, it just was like eye-opening that so many people came. It was double, or at least double the numbers from last year. The involvement is just incredible, and I'm just speak for something, and we've got to get something out of this positively to change, the music program.
Right.
There just is. It seems like it's dwindling at the high school because of the requirements, because of scheduling, and that's a shame, and that's sad, and that saddens me because it seems like it's a big uphill battle to keep kids involved, and you're always fighting and competing with other clubs, other activities, sports, work.
Yeah.
Things are very different than they were in the 80s when I started. Kids didn't work after school. Very few did.
Exactly.
There weren't as many activities, and there weren't as many sports, and there weren't as many clubs, and kids would stay in droves. They would never go home. They would be there all the time, and they were involved. They wanted to be involved in the musicals. They wanted to be involved in chorus. We had tons of kids.
Yeah.
Now we're lucky if we get 24.
Sorry that
Okay.
was long. I'm sorry.
No,
But I like what he said. I
are you
really
kidding
loved
me?
what he said.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And I remember that now.
I didn't
That
love
was,
it. You know what I mean?
yeah, that was 2014. And we had so many. I remember that Arts Alive. The elementary schools all had choruses, and there were over 100 kids on stage, and then there was nothing for the middle
them.
school. They had nowhere to go. Nothing for the middle school at all. You did chorus, and you fell in love with music up until age 8 or 9. And then from 10 to 14, you had no options in school whatsoever. And
And these music teachers in the school district couldn't do it.
yeah. And
They
there's
were not
no,
allowed to teach the classes.
the community organizations are great. They are amazing. They are
Absolutely.
the lifeblood of this community. But the things about school, and there's wonderful things now where the Chorus of Westerly, for example, are literally going into schools with their new programs, and obviously Theater Scrapbook goes into schools with their program, and that's fine. Like if when there's a funding issue, it's okay to let an outside nonprofit organization or an outside organization, whatever, come in and replace these things for the schools. But there are kids that will not ever know that these community organizations are a possibility if the place that they go every day isn't letting them know or having anything for them or showing them that it's a possibility.
Or that it's
So-
important.
Or that it's important.
to
It's
put in your
so
life.
it's so possible. Important. And Anne says Westerly needs an art program. It's been missing from the program for study.
It needs expanded.
Jacqueline says it's a fact that self-confidence can come from the arts, and support from the organizations is important to enhance that. Jan made lifelong friends with David's parents, Anne and Gary, by helping with the plays.
Absolutely. Oh.
We love you, Anne. Yeah.
Yeah. Chorus of Westerly has been recently doing efforts to incorporate themselves into the school district, though.
They have.
But as my dad said, on a high school level,
Yeah.
at the middle school level, it's tough.
It is.
That's a time where, for me, being in middle school chorus was a huge deal for me.
And the administration, I know from working with the people at Westerly Middle School, they wanted these
Yeah.
programs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not. It's
Yeah, we're not
difficult.
trying to,
We understand that it's really difficult.
we know that. We're very
to
aware.
do all of
We're not
these
just
things.
screaming about, but what's important is important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to get it done, man. And I'm sick of, you know, yeah, I'm sick of just being able to say, like, well, you know, things are hard. It's like, yeah, I know, but, you know, you got to do it. It's
Um,
possible, is what I'm saying. So you got to find the way.
I do want to say there's a meme that I have there's a meme that I've seen all over the place recently that I hate so much, and it said the thing that the thing that quarantine has taught us is that the people that are really non-essential are the actors and athletes and all of that stuff. And I just
I
what
like
did
the,
you
no, I like
what
the
did you
meme.
do?
I
What
like
did
the
you do
meme.
while you were in quarantine?
I
Did you
like that.
watch TV? Did you listen to music? Do you like country music?
I like
Because
that
all
meme.
of those, yeah,
Because the meme is like, I just wanna, when you think about how next time you wanna say how you don't need the arts or any of that stuff, remember what you turned to when you
hmm
were lonely and scared. You turned to books,
yep.
television, music.
Life is hard, and there are many people who,
Well, you want to just sit around and talk about it all day, or do you want to escape in some way at some point?
yeah,
Everyone, in
arts
some way.
let.
Does anyone want to look at a painting ever again? Anyone want to look at a photo?
Do you want to read a book? Do you want to listen to music? Whatever type of music you listen to,
It doesn't matter. If it's music, it's
like
music. I
if
don't
it's
care if it's trap. I don't care if it's electronic. I don't care if it's Mozart.
yeah,
Anything in between. It, that's art.
um,
If you watch anything,
we're gonna end on this because I have a
I
meeting,
know we have stuff to do.
unfortunately. Jan said, David, your dad lifted up so many kids to be more confident, not just those with obvious talents. Absolutely, this is not just about it's about everyone. I
Oh
saw so
yeah.
many students start behind the scenes, then in chorus, then on stage over time. David was a force of nature.
Thank you. And that's true, and that's true of all of these organizations. You know, any good leader in any of the organizations that we're talking about, or any potential ones that we're talking about, this is the kind of stories that you will find. It's not just my dad. Any of these, any arts organization that you can find, any given one, you will find comments of people saying exactly that, because people who knew that they wanted to do this excelled, excuse me, and people who just wanted a place to go and didn't know if they even wanted to do this necessarily exceeded their own expectations.
Yep.
And that's the whole point. That's what we can get out of this.
If you can check out the arts organization, I'm gonna put them in the comments of everywhere that this video is. All of the arts, the band room, theater scrapbook, chorus of Westerly. There are a bunch that I'm missing, but check out all of those local organizations. And if you can, there are like 30 carload tickets left. You can check out the world premiere of the Chorus of Westerly documentary, mostly music. Thank you, Dave. This was beautiful.
This was really fun.
And I'm gonna head us out on the trailer for that.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good day. See you tonight
Thank
for
you.
Dave D and Friends.
Yes.